You'll see here I've got all 4 of the models that we currently make and offer. These are all 100% handmade, from scratch, point-to-point wiring, so there's no circuit boards, none of that stuff. A lot of the vintage guys are really into that, and to be honest with you, it's an easier way to build the pedal. I hear about a lot of pedal companies that have troubles getting those PC boards. You know, they have to go through a lot of revisions. And this way, you know, my builders, we can, you know, bust out a box in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and have it done. So, starting from the right, we're going with the Strictly 7 drive, then to the Strictly 7 Boost, the Strictly 7 Fuzz, and the Strictly 7 Dirt. So, by the names, hopefully you're a little smarter than a doorknob out there. A drive pedal, a boost pedal, a fuzz pedal, and a distortion pedal. Beyond that, they're all extremely different. You know, let alone from the color. I don't know what to tell you. The 7 drive is more of a classic kind of vintage drive pedal for pushing your amp, getting that a more singing or searing distortion out of a drier amp. Works really good. This is actually one of my favorite ones. It's on my live pedal board, and I always use it in the studio. With anything, I put it in the front of a Mesa dual rack or a vintage Marshall or a PV5150 or my Ignator, and it's that little push that, you know, a lot of guys are going to, you know, $500 reissue or, you know, $700 vintage this and that and the other, you know, pedal. This one, I'm telling you, I own all that stuff. I've owned all that stuff, and this is what I'm using. It's great. The next one, the Boost, is a cool little pedal. It is real simple. One knob, and it's just a clean boost. It distorts, pushes your amp. The whole design behind it was to actually look at it from a lead boost standpoint of not making the guitar only louder, but maybe rounder and warmer instead of loudness through bright, high-end, and harsh. That would make it either an uncontrollable tone or an unpleasant tone for you to hear, for you to play, for your bandmates to hear, and for your fans to hear. So we went for a nicer, warmer boost. The fuzz pedal is probably the most unique out of the 4. It's a fuzz pedal. It's a classic circuit. Everybody, when you say fuzz, you instantly think Hendrix and, you know, Cream, Eric Clapton. You think these big woolly kind of tones. This one is, you know, for lack of a better joke, it's not your dad's fuzz pedal. It's got a really modern, cool EQ curve to it. It almost sounds like you've got a wah pedal notched. It's a very vocal tone. Very cool for lead guitar stuff. It does a nice smooth boost. It's not real aggressive, ugly fuzz. It's a smooth, very pleasing fuzz. I like it a lot. Really cool for solo stuff. Not saying you can't use it on rhythms, but just letting you know where I've ended up using it a lot. The 7 Dirt is by far probably the most berserk of the 4 pedals. It makes the most distortion and the most noise. It definitely has a lot of cool vintage aspects to it. It's more of that Randy Rhoads Yngwie type vibe, you know, into an old Marshall Plexi, just diming every knob out there and, you know, just controlling it as a player. It's a very berserk pedal. It's cool. I use it for very specific things like crazy noises, crazy distortion, overdubs, things like that. I think a lot of the alt rock or, you know, indie rock guys might actually dig it because they're always looking for those cool berserk fuzz distortion tones to make it not sound like a Les Paul into a Marshall type thing. So very cool pedal in its own right. Another big thing for all of the pedals, from every aspect of how I design them and build stuff and how my guitar came about, it's all about my experience from touring. Like, you know, what's inconvenient, what's convenient, what happens when something breaks, what happens, you know, when you're dealing with this or that, or a pedal board with 50 pedals on it. You know, the biggest complaint that a lot of vintage guys have and a lot of pedal guys have is that when you chain up a bunch of stuff, it actually screws up your tone, which it does. So each one of these comes with a true hardwire bypass. So when it's off, you're literally, the wire from the jack to the pedal switch to the jack is all that your signal's passing through. so there's less signal degradation. Now, I mean, you chain up enough of anything and you're going to ruin your guitar sound. But I've got 4 chained up right here, and you know, I switch out the cable and it's the same guitar tone. It's nice. I mean, you know, it's about 20 feet of guitar cable. After that, you start to lose high end, and you know, all you guitar players out there know that. But that was the other idea behind it, was to make sure that if it's off, it's not ruining your sound. Like, I mean, a lot of guys try to figure out how to put hardwire bypasses in there, you know, this pedal and that pedal, and it's like, well, you know, you paid $150 for this, you know, blues something or other pedal, and you know, when it's off, it's just ruining your guitar sound. What's that? So anyhow, aside from that, when you kick them on, they got a nice, cool, blue, fancy blue light. And as you can see, you know, as I slam all of them on, it gets noisier and noisier. But we've got all the cool action going right there. And